All right, switching gears over to the NIL. That's 90% of why we're here and what we cook up to do. Let's tap in with Dan Hurley for a second. He explains to us why college basketball has changed and how much of his roster is currently seeking new opportunities in the middle of his season.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, let's listen to this sound and see.
Do you have players right now that are fielding offers and considering playing for other teams next season?
50% of my roster or more.
50?
50% of my roster or more is at least, considering going in the portal, if not already knows what school that they're going to.
Well, half your team is already thinking in terms of whether they want to transfer to another program or not.
Yeah, and in a couple of those cases, they've already talked to the coaching staff at future school and have an idea of what their NIL is going to be there.
The money.
Yeah.
What does it do to a culture of a college basketball team when half the guys are fielding offers for next season to go elsewhere?
Well, look at the volatility this year. The level of volatility in college sports, this has now become a year-to-year proposition. The game has changed completely.
This is crazy because to be competing for a Big East championship, to have the type of season that UConn has had, and we all know they haven't had the best season. They still are back-to-back championships, and they still are the champion until uncrowned. NIL really has the game fucked up right now. From a perspective of a player that's not dedicated and going to the school for the right reason. Mm-hmm. When I say that, me and you are both pro player when we understand that a player deserves to be paid their worth and what they see coming down the pipeline for them. But from a competing standpoint, for me, if you can't stay focused in terms of setting up your future and where you're trying to go and keep the main thing, like, all right, you're at UConn now, but you might be going to Miami next. If you can't keep UConn first right now because that's where you are, I feel like that's where the gray area is happening because you can't – I hope that you're not so focused on where you're going and the money that's coming to you that it's taken away from where you're currently at.
Yeah.
And for me, that's just what makes the game so muddy right now because we all work for money. That's why everybody's here. There are a few projects that you might put the work in and put the time in, and you might not see the money right now, but especially in a space like college, NCAA, these players haven't been paid or compensated for so long.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's tough to hear him say that, and it's good to hear that from Dan Hurley because he's at the top of the food chain right now.
Yeah. It's for the lack of better words, and I feel like I've
Wild West.
Yeah, yep, there you go. I oversaturated that word.
Know where he was going.
But it literally is. Like I can't I'm gonna find a better word for it next time. But I think it's a culmination of, hey, we haven't been paid for generations and generations of this sport, and now we have the opportunity to do it, and we're going to do it, right? And so I think, too, you have to look at what good programs who are able to retain their players are able to do. I will say, too, that you do have the opportunity to retain your own players, right, in the sense of how, like I just said, I said you got to learn from the schools that retain their good players. My point is, these coaches have to do a better job at re-recruiting the people that are presumptuously thinking that they're going to leave. Like, if you know somebody, you got a feeling that somebody is – most of the coaches – and he didn't –
Let's just have the conversation.
He knows who's great.
He said 50%. He knows.
So he knows.
Yeah.
Because everybody they talking.
Right.
So, hey, let's address this now.
Yeah, let's be men about it.
Why are you considering to leave UConn right now?
I want to leave because you don't play me enough.
Okay. Now let's have a conversation.
And I feel like I'm better than the two guys you have playing in front of me right now.
Let's talk about all of that. Let's put all of that on the table, right? I think that has to happen more than just Nas, Rob, and Rel, they leaving. They're going to a new university next year and just kind of like going, because the portal opens on the
24th, I think it is.
March 24th.
Yeah.
And it's open for, they give you like 3-4 weeks. April, just
go crazy in those 3-4 weeks.
And it's, again, I think we're just in an interesting time, and this goes back to one of our earlier sessions where I basically said, like, there needs to be some structure around this.
Yeah, around that.
There shouldn't be you just flying around this school after school every year because you trying to get the next biggest pay. Like, you need the next, all right, this school's only paying me $100,000. I need to go over here so I can make $400. Then in year 3, I'm gonna go over here and make $800. Then I'm gonna go over here and try to get, because I'm building experience.
All over the place.
Because I'm building experience. And so that's the point of, like, I think you're not going to be able to build a true winner. Like, he was able to build a true winner because he had his whole team came, like, he had people come back the following years.
You have to build
Donovan
on that.
Clingan came back. He got Steph Castle to come in.
They were able to build a camaraderie.
Exactly.
And also, too, it's not to beat them up, but you're kind of like, that's life.
Yeah.
You're trying to, like, in a way, hijack the process of putting the work in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to be mad at you for going to a different school because you and the coach don't see eye to eye and personalities don't work.
Yep.
I feel like there's very few scenarios where Nas is super nice and he averages 25 for us. I'm going to play him no matter what, whether he comes to practice or not.
Yeah, no, that's true.
There's few and far in between that's just going to happen. You got to be with somebody where you guys see the game the same way.
Got to have relationships with.
And the money, it changes everything.
But
it does.
But these coaches got to understand this game is
Yeah,
all
it's
about
nasty.
relationships.
Yeah.
If you don't have a relationship with your players, they're going to leave.
Why am I staying for you?
You no longer have the advantage of like, oh, I'm offering you a Division I scholarship to play at the biggest level.
So what?
So what?
So what? I could go somewhere else. And guess what? I'm going somewhere else.
You don't even talk to me after the games. You don't even communicate with me. We don't have I don't even know what your favorite drink is of choice.
Nothing.
We don't have, because everything's about basketball, but the people like Greg Popovich, shout out to Greg Popovich.
There you go. You starting your shit.
People like him understand relationships. Yeah. And this is how he's been able to have success throughout his career as a coach. It's because this shit is all about relationships. The bottom line is, for the coaches out there that are trying to figure out how to retain players, how to get players, how to do this.
Have a fucking relationship.
Go build some relationships with these student athletes, because that is the key way of showing them that you care about them. You want to put them in the best position possible to succeed. And you're going to find diamonds in the rough out there that do not care about the money.
You are.
Period.
Yeah.
Period.
So now there's a new free transfer portal platform called Players Era. And it's been launched, and it'll allow players to learn about the schools that are interested in them, the developing NIL deals, and how to accept NIL deals. What do we see as the advantages and disadvantages to this? Because, I'm not going to lie, I feel like this gives the players, once again, some more power. Coaches may not like it, but this is great. It's handheld. You can check and see what's going on from time to time. It's kind of like the car market right now. It's bad, but it's a buyer's market.
Yeah.
They're getting a chance to control their narrative. So I might be in practice for Miami. I'll check and see what deals I got, and I might be going to UConn next year.
Yeah. I'd say this, right? I like the idea, but I think a lot of players, unfortunately, right, the negotiate.
They're gonna use this the wrong way.
Huh?
They're gonna use this the wrong way.
The negotiating, starts way before the portal opens for a lot of people, because they already know.
They know who they're speaking to before this even happens.
And this other school had already called in and said XYZ. I'm offering XYZ. So the number's already there.
And don't forget on this the coaches are only allowed to reach out to a certain amount of players as well, I believe.
Right. So I mean, there's just still a lot of questions. Who's reviewing the contracts, right? If players can push back and negotiate more than the original offer that was made to them, right? And where are they sourcing the market?
Market value?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, like who deems that? Which goes back to your point. What are the parameters around?
There is none. It's just.
So y'all just throwing shit out the wall?
It's vibes.
Okay. Vibes is not going to get as far.
Not very far in this game.
Okay.
I mean, what do you think about the platform?
Like I said, I feel like it's going to be good for the players, but it has to be a control on what you said.
Yeah.
There has to be parameters. Example, Clingan averaged 15 points and 10 rebounds last season and only missed 2 games. So if you miss nothing less than 5 games, you average 15 plus points and 8 plus rebounds, you are entitled to $300,000. And then you have the 1% or the anomaly that we talked about. You may not play as much, right? But you're like a Bronny. You have a really big following. People come in. We still make money off of you.
Yeah.
You get the 1% deal.
Yep.
Because you're still drawing attention and bringing revenue to the team. You may not play as much, but you're still a part of the brand.
You're the exception to the rule.
You're the exception to the rule.
Yeah. No.
With parameters, everything will be crystal clear. But until then, which we got to give them a little time because it's growing more and more every day. And the parameters are coming.
But the figures that these
they're
kids
getting
are
bigger.
paid.
Yeah. What's the craziest number you've seen so far? We know you can't say who or when, but yeah.
Like 1.5.
In college?
2. Yeah. 1.5, 2.
2 straight up for 1 year?
Mm-hmm.
Word?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's not bad. You a funny nigga. You a funny boy.
Man, I mean, listen.
If it goes over your head, it goes over your head.
Yeah,
It is what it is.
Yeah.
See you when I see you. All right. I like that.
Yeah, it's and a lot of it for me.
And is that even being the man?
No.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. The numbers are.
It's everywhere.
Numbers are the numbers.
Okay. All right. But we could say this and then move on. This player has some type of marketing value to him or her, correct?
Oh, they have to. Yes.
All right. So that
Right.
matters too.
Yes. Yes.
And that doesn't make them the
That context-
anomaly, but they
Yeah.
are still drawing revenue.
Yeah.
Okay.
That context
I
matters.
just wanted to make sure we understood that. It's like, okay, this person isn't kind of good or whoever the person may be.
Yep. The problem is, everyone is not garnering that.
Right.
But
Which is, that's a part of the game.
But the average is somewhere between 250 and 400,000 for most. For just,
250?
Yeah.
Ooh.
For some of the people, that's just, I'm happy to be here.
Mm.
But it depends on the university because remember, it goes back to that revenue sharing split. That we
And this
talked
is
about.
per year.
Right. Like someone on the Georgia
250
Bulldogs,
solid.
they don't have like 250, 300,000 for a non-contributing player might be a lot of money because their revenue, they're only getting a small percentage of their school's revenue sharing agreement because most of that, 43% of that's going towards the football team.
Correct.
But if you have other schools where it's like it's basketball, like the University of Kentucky, where there's the only thing that happens in Kentucky is Kentucky men's basketball and the fucking Kentucky Derby. There's no other sports. So most of that money is being pumped there. That's why John Calipari took his ass to Arkansas. There's nothing going on in Arkansas but the Razorbacks. And so that's like those are the universities where those figures are
Shout out John Calipari,
highly probable.
Okay.
And likely.
Yo, bro, what you would have did with 250 while you was at Morehouse if you had 250 in Atlanta? Back in what year are we talking? 2012? 250 in 2011. Yeah, you sending your people any bread or you just? I like that. Okay. All right. I just got only thing 250. That's spicy.
250 is crazy work for an 18-year-old, 19-year-old.
It is.
20-year-old.
Oh my God, booming. Refund booming. Oh my God.